Same, yeah. So now we're transitioning back into present time, where Smita is shaking. She says she's shaking her head, and she says it's difficult to believe that there are people who can be so cruel to children. So again, we're in present time. Smita's talking to Ron. So they're about to play the next question on the DVD. And so the next question is, which god did Sirtis, the blind singer, pray to? And so he knows the answer because this is another past event that's happened in his life. So, in the last part, Prem Kumar smiled. I did not. Why would he not smile?
He lost a mind.
Okay. Any questions so far?
Teacher,
Yeah.
I did not watch.
He lost a mind.
I did what?
I did not watch.
Oh, smile. Smile. Yeah. So Prem Kumar smiled. He did not. So the game show host, when he won, smiled, but Brahm did not. Do you think that these events, these songs to Sirtis, or not to Sirtis, but Sirtis songs, do you think these bring up good memories for Brahm?
Sad.
Sad.
So sad.
Sad. So yeah, I doubt he would be smiling. Okay, so chapter 4, tragedy.
For 3 years, I worked in Nirima Kamuri flat in Juhu. This all began after Salim and I got off the train. We walked up to her flat and rang the doorbell. After a time, the door opened. A tall, beautiful lady stood on front of us. "Who are you?" she asked. "We are friends of Rashi," I replied. He told us where I lived and said that you needed a servant. We have come for the job. We need food and a place to stay, and we promise to do anything that you ask. "I don't need 2 servants," she said. "Which one of you had the idea of coming to me for the job?" Salim pointed at me. "He did," he said. "So I got the job." Nilim's Kumariti flat had 5 bathrooms. Nunima bedroom was the biggest and had a very large bed. It also had a big TV, a DVD player, and video recorder, and a cupboard full of film magazines. Each magazine has Nirima picture on the front of it. She was the most famous actress in India.
Okay, so stop right there. They're visiting Lima, her house, her flat in Jude. So they get off the train, they ring the doorbell. Basically, it says at the very beginning that they work for her for 3 years. All of that since the time that they escaped or got off the train. But she says she doesn't need 2 servants. She asks which one of you came here with this idea of getting the job. Which one, or what happened? She asked that.
She did not want 2 servants.
Yeah, she didn't, but, and so Celine points at Ram, saying he's the one that asked. But yeah, Nalina's apartment, or I say apartment, her flat is very nice, has 5 bedrooms, DVD player, a TV, video recorder, film magazines. So it is a very nice place. And it shows that she was once very famous, had a lot of money. So let's start.
Nilima's mother lived with her mother. She was nearly 80 years old. There was a lady who came to cook the evening meal and a girl who came to do the washing. I did everything else. I cleaned the house, made tea and went shopping. But Nilima's mother was never happy with anything that I did.
You want one more person?
Nilima wanted me to come and live in the flat. There were 3 empty bedrooms, but her mother did not want me there, so I lived in a chore in Kaipopa and came to the flat every day. Salim lived with me in the same room.
So apparently it is a word. Chol. It's not in the English dictionary, in my defense. Anybody know what is chol? I'm asking as a question because I don't know. So it says, Nalima wanted me to come and live in the flat. There were 3 empty bedrooms, but her mother did not want me there. So I lived in a chal in where? Is it familiar? So maybe it's I don't know, a smaller place or just some sort of area where you live in. But basically, Nalima's mother lives with her as well. She does not like, she does not like him. So Ram is having a hard time fitting in. So her mother does not like him, and that's all we know so far. So right now, let's take, just because it's a lot of reading, let's take 5-minute break. And then in 5 minutes we can come back and read this. So do whatever you want to do in 5 minutes. But I'm just going to take a 5-minute break and then we'll come back and read.
Sure.
Yeah.
Chol is a multi-name. It's the kind of building that has like 4 or 5 stories.
Okay.
It usually it's in Mumbai.
Oh, okay. Specifically
Kind of
in
building.
Mumbai.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's Marathi language.
So it's a Mumbai specific place. Okay, that makes sense. I'll mention that to. Do you mind reading that again when she gets back? Just so I can tell her. So what I did to make it easier is I typed this in Word. And these are just suggestions, because, and just to make some of the tenses right. Like for example, on here, this is what, just the revised draft. And so this has all of my just suggested changes. But this would be just what, this is your original draft, and like the red parts are just there as I suggested be changed. Does that make sense? Yeah. And so that's already changed, but that just, this is showing what I changed to that. Does that help at all? And then this here, same thing. I added some comments here, just some questions I had. But it was, I liked it a lot, so I actually tried to be as thorough as I could with this. So that's this. Okay, good. And so here's the originals. Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah. Oh, page 22. I said at one point, she was very famous. So she may not be famous now, but once, at one point in time in the past, she was famous. In a shawl, he mentioned the name of the shawl is, I think it's specific to Mumbai, in that it's like a 4 or 5 story building, places you live, but it's just, I think, a small area that you live in. But it's like, yeah, it's supposed to be specifically in Mumbai. So yeah, I guess that's why it's not here.
Did you use short word short in America?
No. I think it's, he mentioned the definition is that it's, I think it's more specific to Mumbai.
Especially in
Yeah. And I think, because it's not in here, in the dictionary. And so that's why I think it's more
And
just.
when you read, how do you know it's short or it's short?
Oh, he looked it up. So that's the only reason I know it's equal. But yeah, it's kind of just think of it as, I guess, like a small apartment. Yeah, there are a lot of words in here that are specific to India, specific to the Middle East region. So
Do you think slim, between slim and full, which one is the cleverest?
which one?
I think Ram.
Ram is the cleverest?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah. I think
You don't think Salim is very clever?
If you look at chapter 3, because Ram knows that the bad thing will happen, then he brings the lamb to escape from the birds.
Right.
Salim didn't know what happened.
Yeah. I don't know why I think Salim's kind of clever. Maybe not in a good way, but
You know how to see how to do
Yeah.
everything.
yeah. He seems to be more about himself. Just my opinion.
And Ram is a good memory.
Yeah.
And you can know all of the things
Oh, yeah.
in the past.
The major events that have happened, he's remembered.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, we can start. So let's start at top of page 27.
Dilima talked to me about film making. One day she took me to the bedroom and opened a large cupboard. It was full of video cassettes.
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 Cassettes. So it's just, so essentially just two syllables.
Yes, cassettes.
Cassettes. Yes.
Video cassette. There are cassettes of all my friends. He told me there are 114. She pointed to the first shelf. There are some of my earliest films. There are mostly comedies. The more serious films are on the next two shelves. Then she pointed to the last four shelves. They are all tragedies. I was called the tragedy queen. This is my favorite film. She pointed to cassette. It's Mumtaz Mahal. I played the role of the emperor's wife. What is your favorite role? I asked. She smiled sadly. It was a wonderful role, she replied. But one day I shall play an even greater role. Something wonderful happened. Lilima's mother died.
That's great.
Died a month later. Lilima asked me to come and live in the flat, but she kindly continued to pay for Salim's room in a shop. Lilima began to go out more often. Sometimes she did not return at night. I was sure that she had a love. Perhaps she would get married soon.
One minute she said to me, "Now I want you to stay at the show tomorrow just for one night." "Why?" "Madam," I asked. "Don't ask questions," she said. "Just do it." She told me to do this 3 times in the next 3 months. I felt sure that her Lord visit her when I walked away. One morning, I left the shop very early and went back to Nalima's flat. At 6:00, the door opened, and a man came out. He was tall, and he was wearing blue jeans and a white shirt. He had some money in one hand and some car keys in the other. I knew his flat. Where had I seen him? I could not remember exactly. I went into the flat at 7:00 as usual. Then I saw Nalima and I was shocked. There were wounds all over her face and she had black eyes. "Madam," I cried, "what has happened to you? It is nothing to worry about." "Ma'am," she said, "I fell from my bed and hurt myself." I did not believe her. I knew that the man I saw leave the flat had done this to her. After the day, Nalima became strange, quiet. One morning, I saw her with a black eye again. "Who is doing this to you?" I asked her. She was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "There is a man in my life. Sometimes I think that he loves me. Sometimes I think that he hates me. Why don't you leave him?" I asked. "It is not that easy," she said.
Thank you. So a wonderful thing happens. Nalima's mother dies. Okay. So which is nice for, I guess, Rom, I guess. But, so because her mother dies, Nalima asks Rom to come back to live in the flat with her. And she continues to pay for Salim's room in the shawl. So, in general, Nalima starts to go out more often. She starts to go out more often because why? She fell in love, yes. She fell in love. And so, yeah, next 3 days, for the next week, Ram is asked to live in the shawl, or to stay in the shawl, not at her flat. And so he's wondering why. So one time he leaves the shawl early, goes back to the flat, and he sees this man who's tall, blue jeans, white shirt, has money, and what's important? What does he recognize the man?
No. Sure. Not sure.
Well, it says, I knew his face. Where had I seen him? I could not remember exactly. So there is some familiarity there. There is some recognition. He does think he remembers that face from somewhere. So he recognizes this guy. But what does he notice is happening to Nalima? Yeah. So at first she says that it's just fell off. Yeah, so she fell off a bed. But Ram doesn't believe that. So Ram eventually asks what happened to her because she has this black eye. And she says that, how does she respond to that? What does she say about that man?
It's not easy.
Yeah. So sometimes she thinks that he loves him or her. Sometimes. Yeah. But maybe to Ram it seems obvious, well, if he beats you, if he hates you, why do you stay with him? But she says it's not that easy. So, okay.
B-R-U-I-S-E-S.
Where? Oh, bruises. Do you know what a bruise is? Okay. So, it's kind of hard to pronounce actually. Bruise. Yes. The hard part is saying, the hard part is including the R, but bruise. Like, you know how you say, brother? So, bruise. Okay. So yeah, go ahead.
Her lover had visited her again. She was lying in bed with a long lip cut under her left eye, and her face was bruised. She had difficulty speaking. "We must call the police, madam," I said. "He must be arrested." "No, Ram," she said. "I will be all right. That man is never going to come here again." But after that, she became even more quiet. She sent her cook and maid away, and I was the only one working in the flat. And then Nilima prepared for the greatest role of her life. She asked me to get all her awards and the film magazine with her picture on the front. She put on her most expensive sari and jewelry and made her face look absolutely beautiful. Then she went into her bedroom and put the video cassette of her film Mumtaz Mahal into the video recorder. She pushed play and sat down on the bed. The film began. She told me to go shopping. มีใครอยากต่อขอละเดี๋ยว
When I returned that evening, I found her on the bed. She was holding one of her awards. I took it from her and looked at it. I read National Award for Best Actress, award to Nelima Kumari for her role in Moonstar Maha 1985. I looked at Nelima's dead body. I would not go to the police. I was afraid that they would arrest me for murder. So I ran away to the shore in why have you come here? Salim asked me. Madam has sent me away, I said. What will we do? Said Salim. How will we pay the rent for this room? Don't worry, I said. Nelima paid the rent for the next 2 months. By then, I'm sure I will have a new job. I got a job in a foundry. Every day I was afraid the police would come to arrest me. But there was no news in the papers about Nelima Kumari's death. The body was discovered after a month. The newspaper said, famous tragedy queen Nelima Kumari kills herself. Now this was a real tragedy. Samita is shaking her head sadly. How terrible, she says. I've seen Mumtaz Mahal. Are we going to talk about Nelima Kumari? I say. Or shall I tell you about the quiz show? Samita press play on a DVD player.
Okay, Mr. Thomas said, Prem Kumar, here is the question for 10,000 rupees. In which year did Nelima Kumari, the tragedy queen, with the National Award for Best Actress? Was it a 1984 B, 1988 C, 1986 or D, 1985? I know the answer. I said it is B, 1985. What Prem Kumar was so shocked that he forgot to ask it. I was absolutely sure of my answer. There was the sound of drums. The correct answer lit up on the screen. Absolutely correct. Said Prem Kumar, you have won 10,000 rupees.
Awesome, thank you. So, we've gotten to, I think, our third question in Who Wants to Be a Billion, or Who Wants to Win a Billion. So it's sad because her lover visits her again, Nelima. And what Ram notices something, a cut, basically below her eye, that her face was bruised. And what does Ram suggest that they do? Yeah, they call the police. But she's like, no, I'll be all right. She said the man is never going to come here again. After she says that, she becomes more quiet. She sends people away, like her cook and her maid. And so Ram, is the only one left in her flat. And it says, then Nelima prepared for the greatest role of her life. What happens next? What does she do? Yeah. So So what she does, she asks Ram to get all her awards, all her magazines, and a picture of her. And she says she puts on her most expensive sari and jewelry, and